from the perch, has gone off into the sky, has flapped its wings at least 50 times, and then at least 50, if not more. And then once it crescendos, right? Then it becomes a god, and it takes off into space. And this is the best episode of the podcast ever. Let's hope. Oh, you always have to estimate the land speed of an unladen swallow. Oh.
Trials had dropped. We were all having fun. We were all getting rewards. Man, that's different.
All right. So
let's hope.
All right. So they didn't hear you during the first bit of that. So
even better. Easter egg.
It's perfect.
It's only there for the people who listen. For once, the people who just listen to the podcast are going to have a benefit tomorrow when it comes out over the people who are here live. Just where the cookie crumbles.
Oh no, I remember that time, TPL.
Anyway, what I said was, do y'all remember a week ago when everybody was super psyched and jazzed on Trials? Man, wish that would have lasted longer than 7 days.
Oh, it would have been great, man. It would have been perfect.
Ooh, gonna be talking about it quite a bit this week. But of course, we've got our usual host here, Mr. Dan Finity. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, hello. Hi.
It's good to see you, man. That beard is just getting more and more powerful.
I know, man. I got to start wearing different colored shirts. Otherwise, people are going to start thinking that my neck is just beard. Or like, just...
Eventually, it all just becomes one.
Just one
melts
solid
together.
color.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait. I'm going to look like a carpet.
Just lay you down in a cabin.
Picturing it. I'm just picturing it. Oh my gosh.
My beard inspiration is from Rasputin.
Oh.
Whoa.
We're gonna need to have some conversations with you about some of your advisory work there, buddy. got a couple questions for you. But of course, I'm the Black Link, and joining us this week, we've got a very special guest, Drago. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. Excited.
Yeah.
Ready to talk about stuff and things. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, a good week to have you on because, of course, this is week 2 of the Trials revamp. We have gone from like a 9 out of 10 experience to what a lot of people would consider to be less than 9 out of 10.
Just a little bit, a lot of bit.
Less than 1 week. We got 1 week of good Trials. And we'll be getting into that over the course of the show. But first, of course, for those in the audience who maybe aren't acquainted with you, we know you just got off of a 23-hour live stream, and you're taking it into over a full day here. But for those out there who maybe aren't acquainted with you, why don't we start things off by allowing you to introduce yourself to everybody, who you are and what it is you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Dragosnuv. Most people call me Drago or Snuv. I literally just play Destiny to have fun. That's my thing. I really like PvP. PvE is fun, but I like PvE more of like helping people like get through something the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And like PvP, I absolutely love PvP. Just a little bit, just a lot of bit. But this weekend has definitely tested me, for sure. And yeah, so play Trials, the
Mhm.
Trials background. It's always my background. I love going in. I love playing. And that, yeah, it's about it. It's me in a nutshell. I'm just a goober. Loves playing the game.
Well, I mean, right on. Welcome to the show here, and that's probably the best way to sort of start off the conversation this week. You're a guy who loves PvP. You clearly are somebody who's really tied in with the Trials of Osiris game mode. How did you feel about your Trials experience this weekend?
Mm. This weekend, definitely started off different.
Yeah,
Definitely started off different. We planned out to play with a great friend of mine, Fee, and we played last week, and we helped. I think we got like 20 flawlesses. It's not anything
yeah,
crazy,
Mhm.
but we helped just a lot of people. And then this week we got on all excited. We are ready to play. We are like, all right, are you good? You warmed up? I'm warmed up. We're ready. Let's do it. So we pulled the person in, and then we went in, and we were like, um, huh, okay, this
yeah.
is different. And then we played, and then we played for 2 hours, and then played more and more, and we started noticing that it was a little bit different,
Hmm.
Yeah.
really fast. But it's kind of weird because just off the last stream, um, it started feeling to me personally, it started feeling like I was solo queuing all day just to test it out and see
Right.
how everything was going now that it's been a couple days, or it's been some time. More people have gone flawless to see if more people are still playing, and it felt like most it felt like more games started feeling like that first week
Mhm.
for me personally.
Yeah.
Um, there were still some games that were just impossible to win, but
Mhm.
it felt like more games were starting to open up. Um, but it does not compare to the first week at all. At all. First week was pure.
Yeah.
It was great.
Right. And we spent a lot of time on last week's episode talking about Trials of Osiris. I think pretty much everybody here except I think you, Dan, at the
Yeah.
time had a chance to go through and at least get 7 wins. Um
Yeah.
and it was such a revelatory experience for what Trials could be. It was fun, it was
Yeah.
fresh, it was new. There were more people playing the game mode than had basically ever tried it in Destiny 2's history.
Mhm.
We're talking, we were getting back to
Yeah.
Destiny 1 numbers in terms of activity in the Trials of Osiris playlist. And it's just so funny to me that with a few simple changes, really one big change that Bungie implemented this week that we'll cover in just a second. We've gone from a almost universally praised revamp of Trials to Civil War. Well, I don't know how many Civil Wars we've had in the Destiny community. Civil War number 87.
I think we're pushing triple digits at this point.
Yeah, I'm undershooting there with 87. But I guess for the purposes of those who are listening, what exactly changed in Trials? What happened between last week's experience and this week's experience? Because this
I,
is covered in the TWAB. It's a very small change that Bungie talks a bit about. They talk about the experience of people playing playing in Trials last week, especially those in the later games on the cards, Game 6, Game 7, running into 5-0s and
mhm.
05s and all that kind of stuff. So Bungie implemented a very interesting change. I think I've got the TWAB pulled up here.
Yeah.
It's better if I just read exactly what they say. We aren't satisfied with the matchmaking experience for players after 7 wins. That area of matchmaking has a significantly higher rate of 5-0 games than we would like, so we are enabling a flawless matchmaking pool. However, we want to make sure that there are enough flawless players to maintain good matchmaking times, so we are waiting until Friday afternoon to turn this on, and we will be watching player reactions and matchmaking analytics all weekend to make sure it's behaving properly. I do want it to be known it did not behave properly and was turned on immediately after trials went live. Yeah.
Oh man.
That was a great experience to jump into trials and immediately be thrown into that flawless matchmaking pool, because it seemed like rather than taking into account teams that had gone flawless this week, it had taken into account anyone who had ever gone flawless before and threw them into that playlist.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, immediately. So they did wind up pushing out a quick fix and I guess turning it off after like an hour or so, only to turn it back on 2 hours later. And then that kind of rolled off into the weekend. But that's the big change there. Teams that, or players rather, accounts that have gone flawless, because it's not even specific characters. Accounts that have gone flawless are now thrown into a flawless matchmaking pool with only other players who have gone flawless. So like, let's say you play as on your Warlock. You go flawless, you jump over to your Titan to go play and get armor from them, you're in a flawless matchmaking pool. You carry your friend who doesn't play a lot of PvP. Flawless. You try to carry somebody else, well, guess what? You're in only a flawless matchmaking pool. And I'd say that's caused quite a bit of consternation throughout the Crucible community this week. It's easily been the number one topic of conversation. And I'd love to hear how you feel about it.
It's honestly, man, I feel like trials, like, I don't want to start anything, but I feel like trials is like an end game. I like both ends of the spectrum. Like I like the farming the loot fast, right?
Yeah.
Like going in,
Yeah,
like last week, going in, farming,
definitely.
getting materials, getting loot, helping friends that aren't really that comfortable with trials or PvP in general, but they're at light because they're at the end game,
Right.
and they want to jump in. And then the other aspect is the competitive nature, where it's like if you want to go in and you want to run fully stacked with friends that are really, really good at PvP and play to the best of your abilities and go against teams that are playing to the best of their abilities, like that's a really cool aspect of it. But I think that if there's a game mode for that to come out, it should be probably a rework to competitive and having like a ranking system.
Right.
And no loot in it. Leaving loot out of the table. It's literally strictly for people that want to go in, get max rank, and maybe have some cosmetic items, emblems,
Yeah.
like armor, cosmetics, or ghosts, or something along those lines for those people that want to chase that. But I don't think that trials. It really felt great last week, just because there were so many people that could go in.
Yeah. I went in on Monday. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of lost track of time. I was supposed to be editing the podcast on Monday and didn't get to it until much later in the afternoon. But I did get 7 wins, and I felt like it was one of those feelings where it was an open gate, where anybody could access, and I actually had fun, and I felt like I was learning stuff about like my playstyle and about my opponents the further in that I got. I haven't been able to play this week. I've heard the cries of the masses when it comes to it.
Yeah.
I think so. Part of that is like, so it takes into consideration whether you've gone flawless at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I agree with you that that trials is like an end game activity. It feels. I kind of talked about this today on stream, where like that kind of like punitive thing, where it's just like it keeps you in the like 7 flawless win pool at the end, no matter how many cards you're running that weekend. That feels punitive. Like I think it is a good term for it. And to put it into like raid terms, because that's like the equivalent of the PvE side, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Is like you just keep adding like not a shittier mechanic to the end game boss, but just one that like is just a touch more difficult each time, where it almost goes to the point of not enjoying or wanting to do that boss.
Not wanting,
each turn.
Not wanting to play.
Yeah.
No, I think absolutely both of you have really big points here. I think we can all understand what Bungie was going for here. They even explain it here in the the TWAB this week. Last week they had a massive success. Their goal was to get more people to play Trials, especially that more casual audience that would never think to go in there. And I think the way you do that is the way they did it. You create incentives, you create rewards, you create a structured reward system to keep people in there. You make it open for people who don't have a stacked fire team. Solo matchmaking does that. They nailed all of that last week. And I understand the point that they're coming from here in wanting to protect some of those solo and more casual players from having to run into the 5 KD sweat lords all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody understands that because nobody likes having to run into that, especially when you're a solo player. But something you said there, Dan, I think absolutely nails it on the head. You shouldn't be punishing teams that are playing well. And that's ultimately what this is doing. Teams that are good enough to go flawless being put essentially like what some games do, where if you're cheating in the game, you get put into matchmaking only with other cheaters. So it's just a cheating hellhole. That's kind of like what Bungie's doing here. If you went flawless, congratulations. You're only going to go against other flawless teams, regardless of what character you're playing on, if you've reset your card, if you're carrying somebody else to the lighthouse. And that feels punitive. It absolutely feels punitive to players, and I don't think it's the right approach at all. I understand why they're doing it. I don't think this is the right approach, and it'll be interesting to see what some of the player numbers in Trials are going to be looking like in the coming days, and in the coming weeks as well, depending on how Bungie handles the feedback here. But I don't think it was the right move, and that seems to be a polarizing opinion in the community right now, because there are people all on every side of this, basically shouting from the rooftops. Because of course, there's a lot of lesser skilled solo players who are thinking, no, this is great. I don't have to go in and run into a triple stack. And we all understand that. But Drago, something you said there really kind of hits at a ley line here, and I see some people in chat talking about it as well. Trials is that aspirational in-game PvP content. It's meant to be that. Nobody's looking at Grandmasters and saying, oh man, we should make those easier for people who only play PvP. Not one person. You'll never ever hear that argument. So why are we taking this in-game PvP game mode that was done well? We had a perfect cake last week. Bungie baked a perfect cake. They let everybody take a bite of it. Everybody was like, damn, this cake is good. And then they were like, okay, great. So we nailed this cake.
Wait, it's got sprinkles?
Awesome. It has sprinkles. Like, they found a way to put fruit on the cake without making it gross. They did everything they needed to, and then got the feedback and said, okay, let's throw this cake back into the oven for 15 minutes. Why? Why would you do this?
So it really feels like I think a positive out of this, though, is, and we've talked about this in the past, how quickly they're able to move now. They're able to make changes relatively quick clip, and I could see like somebody in chat was like, Tywin said they should have left it for a couple weeks to see feedback, and how it works 100%. On different maps, and like, I understand that, but also if you're going to make like an unpopular opinion or like an unpopular play, it might be best to like be like, okay, let's get the numbers up first. Let's make sure that the pool, like that people are in the pool, right? And then when they come back in next week, there's going to be an ouchie. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off real quick. And we're going to see like how that affects that player pool. And then iterating over time to kind of make it like more perfect. Like while we had a quote unquote perfect cake, it's like they're going to keep iterating and iterating and iterating, it feels like. Because like next week, they even say in the TWAB, it's like next week, in addition to our first trials lab, which is the capture the zone trials, we will be disabling the special ammo replenishment on revive. And you still get special ammo if you kill someone or when you start the next round. We are also disabling the matchmaking counter on the Trials of Osiris lobby. So you won't be able to tell how many players have joined, but will still be told when they join. So
Yeah, that's a big change. You know, they're adding in quitter penalties because, of course, when you're adding in solo matchmaking, you're gonna get what you're gonna
Yep.
get. You're gonna
Yep.
get some triple stats being like, okay, are we up against some solo players?
Yeah.
No, back it on out. Back it up. Back it up.
Back it up. Back.
And so these were good changes. And you're right. They're going to be iterating on trials moving forward here. And I just think this particular step wasn't the right
Yeah.
one. I don't think throwing flawless players into their own player pool for the sake of a more casual audience was the right decision. I think, we talked a lot last week about the opportunity of a freelance trials playlist.
Mhm.
And I think our argument there was that that'd probably be better for casual players than for solo players, but you want to avoid segmenting the trials population because you're going to get back into the same scenario we had last season and seasons prior. But that's what the flawless matchmaking does too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but I would prefer a freelance playlist to just throwing flawless players into their own separate play pool. I think that's a less egregious thing to do there. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I mean, personally, I don't think having all solos is the play.
Yeah.
Just by playing so much freaking comp, like, I don't feel like that's the play. But I mean, I'd prefer that over what we have right now. Like, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Anubis there in chat. Shout out to Anubis, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to treat PvP as equally as we treat PvE.
Yeah.
And that was the point that I was making a few minutes ago. I can understand the more casuals audience who just got an entrance into trials now are finally having an opportunity to earn some of these fantastic weapons and armor. I'm happy for them. I'm glad that they got that. But I don't think the notion of making this supposedly in-game pinnacle ritual PvP activity, the pinnacle of the player versus player environment in the game, easier for a more casual audience. I don't think that's necessarily the right choice because, again, nobody goes into Grandmasters and says, oh man, we should make this easier so people who only play PvP can enjoy it. No. Trials is meant to be that in-game hard PvP game mode where you get the best stuff in the game. And I don't think watering that down is necessarily the right choice. Again, we all understand not wanting to run into the stacks. Everybody knows how that feels. Everybody knows how it feels. But I think this was a misstep by Bungie on what was otherwise a really, like we said before, a really triumphant job with revamping the Trials of Osiris game mode. And hopefully, as they're going to be continually iterating upon Trials as it is right now, we'll be seeing some changes to this real soon.
Go ahead.
Oh no, after you.
I just think that, man, one of the purest things that I saw streaming last week was just playing. I was playing my matches with the current people that I was playing with, and there were people asking to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they were seeing like, oh, it seems pretty good. I'm gonna go grab my two friends and we're gonna go in. And then seeing them come back like a few hours later saying, I got my first flawless with my two best friends. That was the most purest thing ever. Like, it didn't matter if we were losing the game 0-4. Like, when I saw that, I was just like, we'll reset. I'm happy. They're happy. I'm happy. Let's go. And it's just seeing that just ripped away from people, and like now they're just sad because they can't get past win 3, or they can't get past win 2, and it's just like, you gave us this and it was so nice.
Yeah.
I only went flawless once or twice, but now I can't even get past win 3.
Right.
Because it's like one end is like people are resetting their cards, so they don't have that flawless. So everybody trying to go and get flawless is matching the people that are resetting. Then the other end, if they have one friend that did go flawless and they want to play this week, they're now put in that pool, which is it's a hard balancing act, man.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the things that it hurt to see a little bit this week. Just personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a lot of stories of that from last week too, of players that I personally play with who are PvE people would never step foot in trials
Yeah.
ever. Dan, who tried it out last week, like our buddy Nim
Yeah.
went into trials last week, came out with a full set of armor, some awesome weapons. It's like, this is great. A buddy of mine who hasn't played Destiny for like 9 months, I've been getting him back into it over the last couple of weeks, has never played trials in D2. Was all about PvP in D1, but never got into trials in D2. Jumped into trials a couple days ago, or last week, and was able to get 7 wins, a ton of gear. He was like, this is great. This is fantastic. Oh, he's good. He's good. He stopped playing for a while, but the guy's good. And it's just kind of frustrating to move from a system that was working great, working fantastic, to overcorrecting, in my opinion, for a problem that that Bungie probably didn't need to address quite as heavily as they did. And I've seen one of the criticisms of people who don't like this change being that, oh no, you just want to farm 0.3 KD accounts.
I had somebody
Yeah.
come and say that. It's like, it's not that.
It's not that.
That.
It's an experience, and
Yep.
some of those 0.3 KD's accounts aren't realizing. Some of them, with the big problem with skill-based matchmaking in this sort of vein is like, eventually, with this sort of hammer of this flawless matchmaking pool, you're going to go flawless.
Yeah.
And then your 0.3 KD butt is going to be locked in a flawless playlist forever. There's no way out of it. This was a blunt force sort of fix to a problem that didn't really call for it, in my opinion. And I mean, I'd imagine Bungie's probably going to be watching the numbers.
Of course.
Yeah, I've got trials report up. They've been reporting on some of the numbers all weekend. Numbers are down from last week's trials, but we're only 2 weeks in. It's not nearly enough of a sample size, I think, to extrapolate any sort of big data from. But I feel it. I've felt a hit in trials. It was definitely a different experience for me this week than it was last week.
Yeah.
What was it? Kotaku covered this. And at one point they said it was like it's like a really weird paragraph that they use in here. This is an article. Destiny 2 players are mad Bungie's going to force fair multiplayer matchmaking by Ari Notice.
Sounds like Kotaku.
The paragraph goes on to state, curiously, gamers don't always want skill-based matchmaking, as a Vice report detailed last year. Even some of the best fit first-person shooters in the world rail against what they perceive to be a system that promotes fairness over fun. Do you is this that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nah.
that's that was such a loaded way to read that. It's not fairness versus fun.
Yeah.
It's not fairness at all. Like, I don't remember how many times we've had this argument on the podcast. We've covered the notion of skill-based matchmaking on this show, essentially since the inception of this podcast. And to generalize it like that, it's not a question of fairness. You want to know what fair is in an environment like this? Completely randomized but connection-based matchmaking. That's fairness. Sometimes you're going to go up against people who are better than you. Sometimes you're going to go up against people who are worse than you. Just because you're in a 3-stack doesn't guarantee that you're going to be winning a game. I went up against plenty of 3-stacks in trials last week and this week.
And this,
Won just fine.
Yep.
The notion that the notion that this is the only fair option has always been a mistaken one. It's kind of a poisoned well argument. There's no general truth in that to begin with, and a true fair environment would just be completely randomized matchmaking based on the best connection. Matching you with people who have the best connection to you, so you have the least amount of lag, the least amount of time in between matches, and the least amount of weird stuff going on, which weird stuff happens. Yeah. The spaghetti code takes place all the time in PvP. At least that's how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys?
I think, honestly, I think it's kind of hard to do connection. I mean, at the end of the day, like I know we're talking about Destiny, but
Yeah.
playing a game, uh, Apex, like when you go into just regular old squads, like you are getting put up. Like it has that connection base, like choosing your server or whatever. But if you play
Yeah.
with friends from over the seas, you have those issues. But like you're going against whoever it matches you with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it does not matter what rank that you are. You can be like low rank, but you can match top predators, like top of the food chain because you're playing
Right.
just that. And in most instances, that's pretty fun because like there's so much variety in it. Like it's fun. But I just think whenever you put a system that we currently have, it's just oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a difference between basic matchmaking
Yes.
and a ranked mode.
Yep.
Ranked mode is for skill-based stuff. It's been a thing in first-person shooters forever. Everybody can remember Halo, ranked mode in that. COD used to have pretty decent ranked modes. And this particular type of matchmaking, this flawless-based matchmaking, isn't necessarily a skill-based thing. It's not even necessarily the same as the skill-based matchmaking that you
Right.
see in those ranked-based modes. Because anyone can go flawless. That can happen at any time based on the matches that you're getting.
Yeah.
And to take anybody who's gone flawless, regardless of their personal character stats or anything like that, or connection quality, and then only matching them up with other people who are flawless based on that arbitrary ruling. It's not a question of fairness, in my opinion.
Yeah. Another question that I have. So I saw a lot of people talking about how like a fix to this, to the flawless loot pool, would be to possibly allow you to reset your matchmaking with
Yeah.
the reset of your card. How do you guys feel about that as a possibility? Do you like what are your views on that?
I think people are going to do what they're doing now. Get to
People-
win
yeah.
6 and dip.
Yeah.
Reset. Get to win 6, reset your card.
Yeah. Like
Which is how people
why
are getting past this. Yeah.
yeah, why if there's always going to be an easier way, people are going to take it. And I think that there's people that don't reset and they're still smashing. They're still
Yeah.
smashing out helping people. They enjoy the challenge,
Mhm.
They want that challenge. They want that because Destiny doesn't have right now, Destiny doesn't have that PvP challenge for those
Yep.
players that want to go all out
Mm-hmm.
inside of Destiny. Like it's just they
Yeah.
don't. And like a lot of those players that are loving that because they're like, all right, this is harder. I like harder. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think people would just get around it
Yeah.
the same way they do right now. That's how people are dodging the flawless matchmaking pool. They're just going to 6 games and then resetting and
Reset.
just farming things that way.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly sure how much that would that would actually help.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who would love to reset their stats though.
Yeah.
But I think the system itself, just based off of playing Friday and then playing a long time today, the
Mhm.
games got easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know if people are going to keep playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like it's opposite from what it was last week. Like people could just the gates were open, people went in.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
it's people going through and trying to get to the gate and then through the gate
Yeah.
to get to the what we had last week.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, so like I had my experience last week was I got 6 wins fairly easily. I was surprised by I was by
Right?
myself. I got to 6 wins, and then I'm
Yeah.
on that last one, and I'm like, oh shit, is
I'm
this
gonna
the
do
moment
it.
I ascend? And then it wasn't. But like I did end up like knocking out that 7th win. I got the pinnacle, and like I got a bunch of loot and a bunch of gear and stuff. Another thought, how much of this is like natural fall off too though?
Yeah.
Where like
Yeah.
because the gate was open, you're going to get more people on opening day of an attraction than
Mhm.
you are like
That's true.
yeah, like
Yep.
6 months down the line. So like I can see a lot of people jumping in the first week and just being like, "Hey, you know what? I haven't played Trials in a while. I haven't played Trials since back in Trials of the 9, right?" So like I wanted that experience, and it was a novelty of sorts. I haven't felt that
Right.
same pull this week. Like partially because of like some of the things that I'm seeing online, but also like I just haven't
Yeah.
had I haven't had a lot of time either. So like as we're looking at it right now, I think at this moment in time before Monday sets in, we're about like 100 and is it like 39,000 players short of where we were last week?
Yeah. Trials report has been tracking it. In total number of unique players in Trials is down by like 5%, and total number of matches is down by 25%.
Mm,
So there's less people playing and less games being played. But I do think it is important. Something you said there is that there was always going to be fall off
yeah.
between week 1 and week 2. That was just expected to happen, which is why I said these numbers are going to be important to look at, but we're probably going to have to get a couple weeks in before we can really see what kind of effect
Yeah.
a change like this is really going to have on the game mode. Somebody
Honestly,
in
makes a
chat
lot
said
more
it.
sense.
Yeah. And somebody in chat said it earlier. Like the big tell is going to be the number of flawless cards that have been turned in over the course of this weekend. Tracking the flawless numbers is really going to be the tell for how well this matchmaking has actually run and done for the Trials of Osiris game mode. So I'm going to be looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing some of those stats in the coming week.
Oh yeah. So if they were looking at this, they probably should have done like 5 weeks of just
Yeah.
the constant, right? Just
Yeah.
and then made the changes. Because that way you have a sample size that's over time of like what that
You could
change
at least
was.
get an average
Yeah.
to work with moving forward rather than doing this kind of change a week in.
Yeah.
I know, I know Bungie's moving fast here as
Mhm.
of late. Like they're moving so fast, but I forgot who I was watching. That they're kind of explaining like maybe this was a little too fast.
Mm.
Like, I mean, I think you explained it earlier. Like you were like, we're gonna have this right now, and then we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off, and we're gonna have worst case scenario.
Mm.
Like, I think, I mean, I think it was just like it was really fast for them to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
Agreed.
really fast.
they've been moving faster and faster. And it's
Mhm.
partially because of like the work that they've done on the back end of the engine, right? And it's like
Yeah.
Yep.
they're trying a lot of things out. We also have a segment of the community population that hasn't been served in 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so
Ain't that the truth?
yeah. And so like I can see them really wanting to get this right as quickly as possible, and maybe some of those steps are not going to be the best. And so we're going to be talking about stuff like this
Yeah.
in for weeks
Next
to come.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we're really gonna have to see how Bungie handles it
Yeah.
moving on into the coming weeks because they're gonna be making changes like this probably. I mean, because next week we've got Trials Lab going live.
Mhm.
Like, so they're gonna be introducing control
true.
zone trials. That's probably gonna bump the population numbers back up a bit. So there's so much going on now. It's gonna be difficult to get a real bead on the numbers there. And Anubis here in chat brings up
Yeah.
another notion in the loot. Like, because Trials is way more giving in terms of its loot now because you can earn reputation rewards with Saint 14. You can get the trials engrams. You can focus those things. Still puts a smile on my face. I
Yeah.
love this system. And because you're getting so much more gear from it, a lot of people are probably going to be getting the roles they're looking for fairly quickly.
Oh,
How
I
do you
said
guys?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
How do you
said
guys
that.
think they're gonna entice people to continue playing?
Yeah.
It. I have no answer for that.
Yeah.
I have no, because I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, the only reason I did Deepstone to get Eyes of
Mhm.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Once I got it, I was out. I'm done. If somebody needs help, I'll help. But
But that's it.
that's it. I'm not going back in there. And that's what happened with Trials. Like, why am I gonna go in unless it's fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And if it's fun, and then people are enjoying the game mode, and they're like, "Hey, Trials is out this weekend. Let's get the buddies together. Let's just go in and
Right.
see if we can go flawless once."
Look, man.
You know?
Taniks Phase 1 is real fun when you're doing chaos mode.
Oh, boy.
You would bring that up.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an issue that Bungie's going to have to address moving forward. If I were to venture a guess at what they're going to do, I'd say mid-season refresh of gear. Right now, Saint 14's missing quite a few bits of Trials gear in terms of focusing. We're missing stuff like the Summoner, whatever the fusion rifle was, Astral Horizon. I'd imagine they're probably going to add that back to his loot pool at some point moving forward with new perks and whatnot. Although from what I've seen, apparently stuff like the Summoner is also in Zer's inventory. Like people have data mined Zer's legendary inventory, and you can get Summoner from him. So that's going to be a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
That
A
is,
little weird.
yeah.
Do you
But
do you
go ahead.
think that something like that kind of points to maybe a mid-seasonal like revamp of the season?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because this is a long season
Yeah,
for Witch Queen.
Yeah.
I definitely hope so. It would
I
be
mean,
nice.
we've got the 30th anniversary thing coming up. I'd imagine sometime around then, so like December, we'll hopefully be seeing some kind of refresh of Trials.
Yeah.
Maybe some new gear, maybe some revised gear or whatnot. Because otherwise,
It's going to be a
not
long
gonna have-
6 months.
Going to be a long 6 months. Not going to have much of a reason to dive into there at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Either way, I think Bungie had a winning formula last week. They kind of messed with the cake recipe a little bit. Hopefully they tune it back a bit and continue to iterate on Trials in a way that's going to bring some exciting new things to it. I mean, next week is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to Control Zone. I
Mhm.
think it's going to be neat to be doing something a little bit different there in Trials, especially since I'm assuming it's Control Zone. It's going to be an objective-based game mode with 6 players. That's going to be all kinds of interesting. Can't wait to see how they're going to be handling that. But I think Bungie's gonna. I think they'll be able to pull it back to a decent point. I mean, after all the praise they got last week for really a truly fantastic revamp of Trials of Osiris, I think Bungie's more than willing to probably listen to some of the feedback.
Did y'all hear anybody like complain about last week?
No, it was incredible. Like everybody was like, "Oh," even the people who hate PvP
You
were
know
like,
what?
"Yeah, this
I
was
heard
okay.
it.
I like it."
Oh, you
From
heard
who?
it?
I heard it. I'll tell you.
What was
I'll
it?
tell you exactly what it was. It was off in the distance, and it was this guy who was like, "Oh, I'm winning too much. I'm getting too much gear. Oh my god." And like I was
It was
like,
Mr.
"Oh,
Mackey.
you're such a jerk." And he
It
was
was Mr.
like,
Mackey.
"I am such a jerk, also." And like then he told me his
Yeah.
entire life story, and it was a huge pain in the
Trials
ass.
is a little bit too easy. Okay. You get a little bit too much gear in Trials. Gonna need to pull that back.
Oh, we
Okay.
need to pull that back all the way.
Shut up, Mackie.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I did see that complaint. I didn't take it serious.
You did?
I did see that complaint. I don't take that seriously. Come on, man. It's a looter. You gotta
Yeah.
loot.
You have to have loot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what is there?
What is it?
What else? I don't know. There was part of me back in the day where like when they were disincentivizing raids, where it's like,
Yeah.
well, why would you want to run those raids again?
Yep.
Right? But then like somebody properly put me in my place and it's like, because you get fucking guns out of them.
You get guns.
You get stuff that you can use in other parts of the game, and you can still use them. So that's why you do it. And they were
Yeah.
right. They were 100% right. It is a looter.
It's to get the stuff.
It's not always about number go up, me feel happy.
That's the point of playing the game, you know?
Yeah.
And speaking of looting, before we get on to the end of the show here, we did have a hotfix come out this week. There were one or two things that I wanted to cover on it really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't gotten the Ascendancy yet, it's the this season's like ritual rocket launcher thing.
Oh.
It got a massive buff.
Massive. Yep.
Huge buff to the point where like it actually got me to put down my my particle deconstruction fusion rifle build for a second. It got me to put it down for just a little bit so that I could play with a charge with light rocket launcher build, because explosive light on that thing turns it into an unbelievable monster in PvE. It's got a 25% damage buff for the explosive light perk, which just makes the Ascendancy do gangbusters numbers. And you can stack a whole lot of buffs on that bad boy. And it's good. I was very happy to see that. Very happy that explosive light got the kind of buff that it deserved to make what was a good but ultimately kind of meh rocket launcher in the Ascendancy something that's truly worth getting. If you haven't reset your Vanguard or your Crucible or your Gambit ranking, go do it, because this rocket launcher is definitely worth it now.
Yep.
I got it to check the box. I haven't
Ditto.
checked it out yet, so that might be something
it's worth using now. Like, you can erase all but the toughest bosses in the game with a shot or two from it with some of the damage builds that we've got right now, especially with stuff like, oh my gosh, some of the combinations out there are just nasty. They're nasty. There's a lot of good charge with light builds you can use with it, or some of the elemental well builds like Font of Might and whatnot work with it. It's a ludicrously good rocket launcher now. Additionally, they also fixed Precious Scars, so that's nice for the 3 Titans who were using that helmet.
What was the fix?
Hey, I know one of those 3.
Precious Scars previously.
Are they the rarest of birds?
Oh my gosh, no.
The Stadia Precious Scars Titan. That's one for the scrapbook. It wasn't restoring shields on like matching weapon kills. They fixed that, so now it's actually worth using. All the Titans out there who are using Precious Scars, you weren't crazy. It wasn't working. But they finally got that. They finally got that fixed.
Yeah. Something that Austin brought up. He asked it for an audience question, but I feel like we need to talk about it outside of that, right?
Yeah.
Ager's Scepter.
Yeah.
We got that this week.
We got it.
We got that.
Did you get it, Drago?
I spent too much time at trials. I didn't.
No, I understand completely. It's real fun. It's pretty nutty.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a lot of time talking about this exotic this week. It is among the most versatile and best PvE weapons you can have right now.
Yeah.
And in terms of ad control, even in upper echelon level content like Grandmasters and master level lost sectors and all that kind of stuff, this thing is a monster. It the synergy you can build with so many different things out there right now are ludicrous. You don't even have to stick with a stasis build with it. My favorite build with Ager Scepter right now is a Warlock stasis build. You mix in stuff like Whisper of Rhyme and Whisper of Conduction, and you just freeze one enemy, or you kill one enemy with it. It freezes the whole room. They all turn into shards when you shoot one of them with something else, and then you have infinite overshields, infinite grenades, infinite risks, infinite melees, and you're getting your super energy pack. It's a ludicrously powerful weapon right now. But what I've been messing around with is a new build with my Titan, running Ashen Wakes, Fusion Nades, a bunch of elemental well abilities like Elemental Ordnance, Well of Ordnance, and whatnot, and then freezing things with Ager Scepter. You freeze one enemy. You throw a fusion grenade at him. It detonates and freezes everything in the room, gives you instantly all of your grenade energy back, and creates a sunspot for you so you have infinite shields with it.
Oh my god.
It's
What the?
brother.
Wow.
Ager's Scepter is a stupid exotic. It is stupidly good in PvE. Yeah, it's a phenomenal weapon.
Mhm.
It's basically all of the abilities of stasis supers in a gun.
It's I think there's another thing. For those of you out there, it has been leaked what the catalyst will do.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
And it looks nuts.
I can't even process this. Like, if you're already saying that it can do all this stuff, and then now it's gonna do more.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah.
do more.
It's gonna do more.
It's gonna do more. I'll
Dude.
So I'm gonna hold on. I need to copy and paste this question real quick, and then I will. I'm just gonna leave this in chat, and people can do with this information what they want.
Right.
I'll also link to it in the audio version of the podcast. But
Yeah.
holy nuts!
Just so that we don't spoil anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled on
Look,
what the catalyst is going to do.
I'm
The
just-
catalyst is going to become available this reset, by the way.
I'm just gonna set Chekhov's gun on the table, and then I'm gonna walk away.
I'm sure nothing's going to happen with
It's
it.
either gonna be used or it's not gonna be used. It depends on what
Yeah.
kind of story it is.
It depends on how much the author wants to piss you off.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's from something. It really is just a super unique and stupid exotic primary. It's really really good. It's not as great in PvP. All it'll do is like if you happen to get a kill with it, and like someone standing near the person you killed, it'll slow them. It won't
Yeah.
freeze them. It'll slow them. So you don't have to. It's not. I don't think it's going to ever be too much of a problem in PvP. But in PvE, the thing is just monstrously powerful. If you're somebody who's designated on ad clear in raid encounters and whatnot, just whip out Ager's Scepter. Shoot one enemy, everything freezes, and then you can give yourself a litany of buffs to go along with it. It's a lot of fun. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It is. It is something.
I'm looking forward to that catalyst. That's something I will spoil for people. Catalyst is going to become available this week. It's not really a spoiler because Bungie announced it. It's going to be, you get it from Wayfinder's chest in Astral Alignment, starting this after this week's reset, I think.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I gotta get this gun.
Go do it.
It's-
Like, so I did the Tracing the Stars quest
Mm-hmm.
all the way through just this past week because I wasn't doing
Oh.
it week to week. So I just
You
did
don't
it,
have to.
dot, and then got it.
I thought that
Nope.
that the Atlas SKUs had disappeared. So you can just do all of it this week?
You can run through and do all of it this week. You can catch up on it immediately.
Perfect.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
So, yeah, you can catch up on it immediately, and it's sick.
Yeah, I would recommend anybody who hasn't done it, go
Go.
do that because it's like a 15-minute quest. It'll take you no time at all.
Go. I was using
It's
it in
easy.
VOG earlier. It's fucking stupid. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real dumb. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
ludicrously powerful weapon.
dude.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like Bungie took the Prometheus lens because Prometheus lens kind of does the same thing where if you get a kill with Ager's Scepter, it restores its own
Mhm.
ammo, so you can just keep shooting and getting kills.
Yeah.
And then took our buddy Nim Plays and just put it in a gun.
Oh yeah.
One gun.
Mm.
It's the ultimate stasis weapon,
Mm.
unquestionably.
There's also the thing. I think it's important to note that it's not overpowered in PvP. I
Not at
don't
all.
think it could be, and
No.
people get away with it.
I
Yeah.
went against it today. And it didn't seem.
Yeah.
It didn't seem crazy.
Yeah.
It's just in PvP, it's just a normal trace rifle that might slow you if you happen to get somebody standing too close. That's it.
I think they balance that super well. Now,
Yeah.
with this catalyst, we're going to see something, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh man. I don't know how that's gonna in
Yeah.
PvP. That might be a little.
Guys, just
That
go
might
get the
be
catalyst.
Just go get the catalyst.
Just
Can't spoil it here.
walk,
Just
don't run, or run, don't walk.
Run, don't walk.
Oh my
there you
God.
go. Wait.
I don't know. Maybe it was a Stromboli I had earlier. Anyways.
Yeah, it's really unique weapon. Very happy with it. Been having a lot of fun with the scepter, and I would definitely recommend everybody go get it.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, though. Like how Bungie keeps making these weapons.
Right?
Like they haven't ran out of ideas yet. That's pretty crazy to me. Like
Yeah.
if this is this unique, I gotta get it and I gotta try it and I gotta like y'all are making y'all are make after this. I'm probably gonna go get it. I'm not even gonna lie.
Go have fun.
I mean, like I said, look up a guide. It takes like 15 minutes to get done. It's no time at
And
all.
honestly, you don't really need a guide. The first week there is like kind of a weird one where like it double posted as the same thing. And so I did have to look that one up, but for most of them the description on the
Quest
quest
card.
line
Yeah.
will give you the general vicinity to go to. Or
Yeah.
I mean, TBL probably does have a good guide on the Planet Destiny
They're out.
YouTube, so you should probably go check that. You should go check that out. Never mind, you do need a guide.
You-
Go to Planet
you
Destiny.
do
YouTube.
go
Go
Yeah,
check out
Planet Destiny
TBL's
YouTube
guide.
channel.
Synergy. I wasn't thinking at the time.
hey,
I'm a big old
Nah,
dump.
you got
I'm
it.
so
What?
sorry.
You
What
got
did
it.
you eat again? What did you eat?
Hold on. Maybe the mushrooms were a little funky. We'll find out later.
Were they green or red? Because if they were green, you get an extra life.
I don't know, but they tasted like shit. Shall we go on?
Oh, okay.
Shall we go on to audience questions?
Absolutely. And if I can interject there, I'd like to ask our guest a question first.
Why, certainly.
Right on. All right, so Drago, one of the things I always like to cover with people is how they got into Destiny. But since you are someone who is primarily a PvP person, how did you get into playing in the Crucible? How did this start? How did you fall in love with Destiny 2's PvP, or even Destiny 1 or any of that?
So I didn't honestly I didn't play much. I have 162 hours in Destiny 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Didn't really play that much. Started late. And Destiny 2, I didn't really I didn't take off with it until Forsaken, honestly.
Yeah.
Forsaken is when kind of like I started playing and I started getting like super into it. And then how I transitioned to PvP is honestly the Luna's Howl.
Mm-hmm.
That's when
Right on.
that's when going for that gun, like I was like, I could do this.
Yeah.
And then I met some friends that taught me like more and more about like I'm no like crazy player by all means. Like I'm no crazy player inside of the Crucible. But I started to learn little things. It's like what like it's just like when you pick up on things and then you do things better and then you do things better and then you do things better. And then all of a sudden like you're able to help other players get this thing. Get Lunas. And that's when like the spark hit and I was like, I can help people get loot and this feels really good and I
Yeah.
love the experience that they're having. And that's it. That's when I started. Like
Luna's Howl.
sorry.
No, that's
Boyfriend's coming
fantastic. One is starting with Forsaken. Some would say that was the right choice because that's when D2 got good.
Yeah. Or I
Oh.
saw somebody posit that it's the lowest point in the series.
I saw that. Talk
Wait,
about a
what?
brave take.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
okay.
Woo!
That's the listen. Everybody's allowed their opinion, even wrong ones.
I insert Eric Andre gif. Why would you say something so controversial and yet so bold?
Yet so brave.
Yet so brave.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah.
But jumping in with that, seeing something like Luna's Howl, which was a real prize to be won, that was something that was worth the grind of going through, especially in its original form. Between that and Not Forgotten, so starting with that and getting in there, and then turning it into something that you could help other people do. I think that's a fantastic way to have gotten really into Destiny's PvP environment. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and it was just a great experience, and just I still have memories, man, of like people's reaction when they got it and they shot it for the first time. They're like, "This is so cool! Like, let's go!" And it's just,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
good times.
Good times. Okay, so before audience questions, last question, then we'll get into it. So I had this thing pop up that turned out to be a controversial opinion.
Oh,
How do you guys feel about people joining your fire team unsolicited without any contact prior? I see you guys mulling this over. Like there's a wrong answer. There's gotta be a right answer. It's only common courtesy. It's common courtesy to send a message.
I'm getting real curmudgeon-y over here because I hate when people do that. Listen, I love all y'all. I love people on my Discord. I love my Destiny homies. Man, when I'm just out sitting in orbit or doing something and someone just joins in, it's like, the fuck are you doing? No, I'm not a fan, and you had the correct opinion, Dan.
People acted like I was the most entitled motherfucker on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
For being like, just send me a message and I'll say yeah or no. And then we go from there.
Hey, you want to play? Because even if I'm okay with joining you to play something, like if you join me unsolicited, unless you're a very specific person, it's either immediate boot or I go offline.
Yeah.
I close the game.
Yeah. I have joined. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I have joined the wrong person. Like playing with people. Like I pull up the roster and I see the emblem, and I'm like, this emblem, this is the one, or like this is the person I need to join, and I join them.
Wrong person.
On accident, and it's a wrong person. And sometimes like they're doing like the lost sector.
Yeah.
Like I join and I see equipment locked, and I'm like, or like something, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I just change characters real fast. And then I get a message saying, why did you do that? Why? What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
I'm
You
sorry.
need XP? You need XP for bounties? Like, why don't you just ask?
Yeah. Now, I think it's fine. I think it's fine if you have a tacit agreement with people. Like some people were making very valid arguments where they were like, look, I'm in a clan, and if our fire team's open, it's fair game. Like, my clanmates can join on me. But like even then, you have like some sort of agreement.
Yeah.
It's an understanding there.
There's an understanding. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. And, you had the right opinion.
That was my Seinfeld moment of the week. That was my Seinfeld moment of the week.
And with me, like a lot of the frustration for it is because 7 times out of 10 when I'm playing, I'm recording something.
Right.
So like I'm recording a video for a guide or for background footage or something. And so when people join in on that, it's like, gotta work around that now.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even think about that. Wow, that's
I feel you.
Yikes.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain, Dan.
Ugh. It's upsetting. Anyways. I got a lot of engagements on that tweet, so thank you, shitheads.
It's all right. I'll stand right beside you in that war, Dan. I'm with you, brother. Just send a message. Just toss me a listen, DMs take a second.
It just takes a second. 1 second. Anyways, all right. So we'll move on to audience questions. Anubis asks, what do we think about Flare being locked behind in-game activities?
Incentives?
Incentives.
Yeah. Is it enough of an incentive though?
I mean, I know. No, I'm not actually. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I know somebody that really likes emblems,
Yeah.
and they, yeah, they just really like emblems, and that's their thing. So whatever they had to do to get that emblem, they'll do it. So, and there's a lot of folks that really like collectibles. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I think it's a great idea. I really do. Wasn't there? Wait, speaking of that, I think Anu told me about D1. There was a emblem for trials that you could get. It was like a scarab one or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was like super rare. And he said
Oh,
like
gosh.
literally if you saw that when you played trials in D1, you just back out. You're done.
Mm.
Yeah, before the quitter penalties
Yeah.
hit. Yeah, there was like a super rare scarab emblem. I don't remember how you got it. It might have been going flawless a number of times. It might have been going flawless while wearing all trials gear. It might have just been the one where you got an emblem after winning games after you've gone flawless. That might have been it.
LC says RNG emblem for winning games after 7 wins.
That's it. There we go. Which is, you know, I think it's fine to lock certain flair behind certain activities. You know, I always thought it was cool when you could get stuff like Chatter White from Vault
Yeah.
of Glass in D1, or a specific emblem for say beating a raid on day one or
Yeah.
on the first week. I think that's fine. Is it an incentive to do that? No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go run Grandmasters to get a Grandmaster emblem.
Going back to our trials cake analogy, that's the
I
sprinkles.
I like cake.
That's the sprinkles.
That's
yeah.
the sprinkles. That's the stuff that's like nice to have. You don't have to have it. It doesn't make up
That's
the
a
cake.
good point.
It's
Yeah.
it's the thing. It's
Yeah,
just the
it's the
stuff
thing.
on top.
Yeah. Sprinkled on.
That's
Yes.
the little extras.
Yes. Next question, coming from Tywin. Which catalyst needs rework between Sweet Business, Lumina, and the Prospector?
I don't even remember what Prospector does.
I don't even. Yeah,
So,
I don't remember the Prospector does.
I used to use it on Ribbon.
Lumina's fine.
That's it.
yeah, that's all I used it for. Like I can't. I think the masterwork might have given it extra ammo, a little bit extra ammo, because I know it's full auto, sticks to things and detonates, and so you could use it to blow up Ribbon and have a lot of fun with that. It used to melt bosses, but I don't even remember if its catalyst did anything other than that. So that would be my answer. Revamp Prospector. We haven't used that since Forsaken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prospector. That's the one.
that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I will say I haven't used Lumina like once, maybe twice. It's a
It was
a
good.
check. It was a check on the
One-
box.
Yeah,
That was
it was good once upon a time. Nim was all about it for all of a season.
Mm-hmm. I remember that season. I think we talked about
Yeah.
that quite a bit that season.
A lot.
A lot. Jeez. Gray Fox asks, with Ager's Scepter meshing well with Stasis, what other weapons would you want to mesh well with other subclasses? Graviton Lance working with Void? Sunshot working with Solar?
I already have a perfect example to use here. Necrotic Grips. Bottom Tree Dawnblade. Right now, for some reason, Bottom Tree Dawnblade burn abilities activate the Necrotic Grip ability. So you can throw grenades and then have those grenades burn and poison targets. And then when the Dawnblade ability of burning targets exploding activates, it spreads the poison to everything in a room. It's a ludicrously powerful PvE option right now for ad clear. You can just walk into a room, smack one enemy, they get burned and poisoned, so their health goes down doubly as fast. Then when they die, they explode, and that solar damage also does necrotic or grip damage to everything else around them. I love that kind of synergy. I hope Bungie doesn't patch it. It's kind of like when necrotic grips dropped, and everybody realized that Thorn could be used with them. Like you can spread that poison with Thorn shots as well, and it's a really fun build. I'd love to see them expand upon that.
I think Trinity Ghoul with anything Arc.
Anything.
Just
Anything.
anything. Just
Doesn't matter. Anything.
anything.
Yep.
Trinity
Mhm.
Ghoul is so good.
It's such, you know, I'm trying to catch up on some of my alt character exotics and whatnot. So like I was running Legend Master Lost sectors on my Titan earlier, and I was just having the roughest time in there. I think it might be K1 Communion. One of the moon ones is active today, and I was just getting my butt toasted by those overload captains in there because I was trying to use like swords to stop them. And let me go ahead and tell you, yeah, I know Disruptor Sword is a thing this season. Don't use it on
Not
overload
good.
captains because they see you coming. They wait until you get there to do a light swap, and then it's like, no, bro, teleport all the way out of there. It's just a full Omaiwa Shindeyu. You die. You just die instantly.
Not good.
And it's not good. It's not great. And I was just banging my head against the wall, like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just gonna pull out Trinity Ghoul.
That was the play.
Mwah.
That was play.
That's the play. I was clearing those lost sectors in minutes. It's
Mm.
Trinity Ghoul is just such a ludicrously powerful weapon. It is, even with Agar Scepter and all the nonsense that you can pull off with the Scepter,
Yeah.
I still hold Trinity Ghoul as being the best PvE weapon in the game. With the Catalyst. Gotta have the Catalyst for Trinity Ghoul. But with it, it's just unbelievably good.
Oh man. Drago, how do you feel about bows?
I love him.
Yeah.
I miss Hush. Like
Okay.
Hush, I used it in PvP. I had
Yeah.
3,400 kills on it, and loved it. Although I did get a new one, one of the new bows this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to test it out.
Yeah.
Oh, the wolf tone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I got a decent PvE one, but
Mhm.
I mean, I think Le Monarch is really solid as well. But Trinity Ghoul is,
This season has been reigniting my love for bows.
yeah.
I just.
What do you mean? That love never went away.
I
What are you
mean, it
talking
never went
about?
away, but it did dim. TBL.
Okay.
It did dim because
Fair enough.
last season I had Witherhoard. I had Anarchy. This season, I have neither of those things. They're both dead to me.
That's all right. Get a Vex and pet it.
Dude, I've been wanting to run more Garden of Salvation to get another accrued redemption because that thing is probably my favorite bow outside of like Limonarch.
Really?
Yeah. It like I don't know why. I don't know why it is. It just is. It feels nice to the touch. It's just like a nice twang.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Very thick thwang.
Very thick twang.
Okay. All right.
Oh, this is gonna be fun to edit later. All right.
Leave it in. All of it.
Leave it in. We're leaving it in.
Oh my god.
Austin 8 or V2 Games asks, do you think with the seasonal story arc this week, do we think that Savathun is going to play Mara? Or is going to play Mara, and also is Uldren being do you think Savathun is going to make a play on Mara and also wants Uldren to be a light wielder for some reason?
Well, I mean, Uldren already is a light wielder.
He already is. Yeah.
Yeah, he already is one.
Yeah.
It's the crow. While Savathun was responsible for his death, I don't think she could have anticipated that the Traveler would bring him back. So that I guess that answers that. He already is a light wielder. Of course, she's trying to play Mara. That's what that girl do.
Yeah. I think there's something about this storyline that like is interesting. Knowing what we know about Witch Queen, right?
Yeah.
Like no spoiler or anything. We already know from like the trailer that Savathun is going to wield the light at some point.
Yeah, somehow.
I think Uldren is an experiment. And not only an experiment, but also a blade. And that blade is used to drive at Mara. And to drive
100%.
at Petra.
Yep.
Specifically, both of them. Because Petra was supposed to guard Uldren to make sure that like he didn't leave the city if he became a guardian.
Yep.
Failed that.
Failed.
Completely.
The light changed him just enough so that he is like a mirror, almost he's a mirror of his former self, just without the memories, right?
Yeah.
So he is
without
his,
the dickishness.
yeah, he's his true self without the entitlement.
Yeah.
So I think Savathun is going to be seeing these things, trying to drive that wedge even further in between Mara and Uldren, but also realizing that once she gets the light, she's not going to not be her true self.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. You know, you brought this notion up on the show before, in that we know the ending to this story.
Yeah.
We've seen the Witch Queen trailer. Savathun gets the light and she makes Hive Guardians somehow. What we're trying to figure out is how we get to that point, and that's the story that's being told this season. I think you're right on all counts. Obviously, she's trying to play Mara. She is absolutely using Uldren to do that, and she had full access to Uldren as fake Osiris, as Osusris.
As
She
faux
was putting
Cyrus.
thoughts-
As
faux
faux Cyrus.
There we go. That's the name.
Yeah.
That's it. But as faux Cyrus, she was planting all kinds of thoughts into his head, just like she is, you know, with you, the Guardian. And it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out, because, like, I think you're right in that she's using Uldren as an experiment. I'll tell you where I think this is going to go. I think Savathun is going to figure out a way to get Uldren back his memories. I think that's where they're pushing for. Because all the cutscenes leading up this far is Uldren basically butting heads with Petra. He's trying to get to Savathun. He's trying to talk to her, and he's starting to ask a lot of questions about why everybody's treating him like crap. And I think ultimately Savathun is going to figure out a way to get him back his memories, and that's going to lead into something with Witch Queen. Maybe only way I can imagine Savathun getting the light. Okay, we're about to get. Maybe I shouldn't even talk about this yet, because this is story stuff and it's crazy. You know what? I'll save it for a future week.
Yeah.
My theories on where the story is going to go, but I definitely think she's going to try to get Uldren back as memories.
Yeah. Now I want an emote with Savathun's head, right? I've been seeing this all over Twitter. I've been seeing all these avatars on Twitter where it's like an image and then it has a post-it. It has a post-it note of like this like kind of like weird smirk face, right?
Yeah, it's
everywhere.
It's Lex's evil face.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I want an emote. Somebody out there make this of Savathun's head, but a post-it note with Osiris's face. We gotta really drive this faux Cyrus thing home.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so good. All right. 3 more questions. We only have 3 more questions, and then we'll call it for the night.
Let's get through it.
Lord Mercatron, hey D-Infinity, why don't you ask Drago why he likes to bet so much? Furthermore, ask him if he's ready to be bald.
Why did
Look, I just asked the questions that the community asks. Okay? I am their avatar.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it all started like when I lost my bet, and then I wanted to win one, and then I kept losing multiple bets. You guys can see the eyebrow is just barely starting to grow back in.
Yeah.
It's it's coming in. It's been three months.
Right.
But I just want to win. Like I just want to win a big bet against everybody, and the next one is bald at a certain sub goal. If we hit it, I have to.
What is that sub goal?
It's
a bit. It's
a bit. It's a bit. It's 32-47, I believe.
Okay.
32-47.
32-47, and we're at 21. So that's a bit.
That's a bit.
I feel like we're good.
Yeah.
So
there's the famous last words there.
I feel like we got this.
All
so
right.
Merc, you can
Excellent.
All right. Well, what? So my question is, is it because body hair was easier to is like the easiest thing to show on stream that it's been removed?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I That's a question for them making the bets. I don't decide what happens.
All right. Okay. I'm just asking questions out here.
It's famous last words. What in the
Anubis asks. I'm sorry, that was a dramatic pause.
That was like a dramatic
That was
pause.
a
I was
very
like so
big
sucked in.
pause.
You were
I was like, whoa.
I know. Should everything that can be earned or is available to be earned at any time, or be available to be earned at any time into all skill levels?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think this kind of ties into, like, he was having a conversation yesterday about what makes a casual and what makes a hardcore player and everything.
Yeah.
And like, I think there has to be aspirational stuff. I think like you have to have stuff that you're striving for in like to get. And if you aren't working towards it, if you aren't trying to better yourself for it, then you
You
shouldn't
aren't
get
going
the
through
thing.
that pain.
Yeah.
The pain to get
Right.
it.
One of the things for me is that, like, so I've wanted to do a solo flawless prophecy for a long time
Mhm.
because that emblem
Yeah.
is dope. The emblem is really sick. However, if I don't make that mark, I didn't earn it. It's not mine. Like, if I don't go solo flawless, I don't deserve it. Because in the game,
Yeah.
them's the rules. Those are the stipulations.
No, completely agree. I can understand the desire to have infinitely available content and things to grind for to take off that pressure of FOMO. But I don't think that's necessarily a realistic sort of thing in a game like this, in an environment like this. Sometimes there's got to be that aspirational content that you've got to earn while it's relevant, while it's available. And I think that's perfectly fine for a game like Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean sunset everything.
No.
Lord knows, don't do that again, Bungie. You learned this lesson. We taught you this lesson twice now.
There's
But,
a bad move both times.
It's a bad move both times. But I think sometimes some of that aspirational content going away. I mean, it's there has to be an incentive to get stuff done while it's relevant. I think that's okay.
Yeah. Drago,
Yeah.
you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm nailing the head.
Sick.
Perfect.
All right.
If you didn't get the quick draw Astral Horizon,
Yeah.
it's not available anymore.
So, all right. I think that's all the questions fit to print for this evening. To everybody who asked questions and didn't get them in, I'm sorry. I appreciate
Wow.
you, and thank you for your questions. There's always next week.
There's always next week. Got to tune in. Got to tune in and get your next question in. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of episode 294 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you to our special guest host, Drago. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, it was an honor. Thank you guys for having me. Really do appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you being here. This was a lot of fun, and it was great to get your perspective on Trials, considering you just spent the better part of over a day streaming nonsense with it.
Hey, it was fun, man. Like there's moments where it was fun. Okay, there's moments where it was fun. It's just moments that were bad kind of outweighed the moments of fun. But
Right.
we'll see what Bungie does.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're moving fast.
Yeah.
They're looking at stuff, and we got stuff on the horizon we can look forward to.
Right on. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to those changes as well, because they've got something special here with Trials. They've done pretty good work, and
Yep.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it blossom further. But all right, before we get on out of here, we do want to give you the opportunity to let chat know where they can find you all across the internet. And so if you would, take this time to let everybody know where you are.
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Dragosnuv. You can find me on Twitch here, of course. Dragosnuv. Across the board, everything Dragosnuv. That's the brand. That's it. You
Lucky.
can find me YouTube, everything Dragosnuv. You'll find me. So that's it.
No underscores or substituted letters
No
there.
numbers,
Nothing,
no
just
substitute
the
letters.
only one.
Dragosnuv. Yep.
That's right. That's right. I like that. But of course, before we get on out of here, we're going to let you know where you can find us as well, starting with Mr. Danfinity, where there are some letter substitutions in some places.
You just drive that.
Oh no!
you just
drive
that knife right underneath. You found the right rib too.
Just a little bit.
It hurts so much.
All around.
Hi,
Oh.
my name's Danfinity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok at Danfinity, where the I's are L's, TBL. You can also find me on Twitch and now Discord. You can now go to discord.gg/Danfinity, where the I's are fucking eyes. And you can find me there. It's a good time. You should join that community. Wonderful, great folks in there. We do stuff. We get through in-game activities together. Today, I helped a guy get a Vex Mythoclast on his birthday.
Ooh.
On his birthday. It was only his third time running it. Third? I held up 4 fingers. I don't know where I am. Anyways, you can find me doing that.
Talking.
We got Beardo and Ask Me Anything because I didn't record that last week. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right on. Make sure you guys go and check all of that out. Dan's one of my favorite people. I just want that to be known to the chat, to
You're one of
listeners.
mine.
Dan is one of my favorite people. But of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. Probably going to be the same deal this week as it was last week. News videos and guide videos and all that kind of stuff for all the new things that are happening in Destiny will be going up on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at youtube.com/Planet Destiny. Make sure you go and check it out. But all right, that is it for this week's episode of the Planet Destiny podcast, episode 294 of the podcast that covers everything going on in the world of Destiny this week. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next Sunday, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, see you next time.